Hey, happy Wednesday. Today is the fourth episode, and I want to talk to you today about my passion for singing. I think it began early on, um, just playing at the house with music that my parents were playing. And what I remember, my earliest memories, is me recording myself singing to some of the songs. And when I would play back those songs or those recordings, I would I would feel like, wow, you're a great singer. Like I was my own fan. And I just felt like I needed to be discovered. I needed someone to say, hey, come to TV. You need to be on stage. And throughout my childhood and my adolescence, I would do that on my own at the house. I'm not sure when it happened, but my dad asked me to learn a song for a family party. I can't really remember when and where. Well, I think I can't remember. But anyways, I needed to learn that song, and it was with the mariachi. And I practiced the song for days and days and days. And it wasn't like it was now. It was where I had to play the song and then rewind the song. So it wasn't as easy as it is now, where you can just play it back. And I remember getting on stage. Was it on stage? Yeah, I think it was on stage. And I began to sing the song. And I was nervous, but I was able to do it. And that was the beginning of it all. And in every family function, every until this day, we always do karaoke, so I'm always singing. Sometimes I have to catch myself because I don't want it to be where I'm the only one singing. I want everybody to sing, but I really do enjoy it. And there was one time where I guess when American Idol began to be popular and a lot of shows that are kind of like American Idol in Mexico became popular as well. Here in the States, they started playing on TV announcing that they were searching for talent. And some of the cities where they would be doing the auditions. And when they came to Dallas, I would go. I would go and I would stand in line, and then that's the moment where I realized that maybe you're not you're not as talented as them, or they're really good and they play instruments and they write their own music. So I was like, I got a little intimidated. And to be honest, whenever you begin to feel that, you get this like imposter syndrome where you're like, maybe I shouldn't be here. And I wish I knew what I know now, where I honestly believe that everyone has their own light and there's space for everyone. And then in those moments, I don't believe I had anyone that I could talk to about this. It was like, oh yeah, did you go to audition? Yeah. How'd it go? Oh, it went good. But there was nothing else. And at that age, who you need someone that can bounce off what you're feeling. And so I would go to these auditions, but I would never get a call back. There was one time I was still in high school where I did an audition, and I think it was Univision. They were the ones that came to Dallas to host the audition. So I was in high school. I think I was already 18. Yeah, I had to be 18. So whenever I got back home from school, my grandma or grandpa were like, you got a call, and it was from Miami, and they asked for you. So then I looked at the caller ID, and it said Miami. So I got so excited, and I was calling and calling back, and I wouldn't get an answer. So then I was like, I can't believe this. I can't believe I lost my chance. But instead of feeling sad about it, I felt great. I was like, whoa, they called you. Out of everybody there, they called you. So you were probably going to be one of them. I mean, they could have easily called to say, hey, thank you for coming. It wasn't you, bye. But I took it as they called you because they were interested in you. So then, after high school, some auditions came along in Mexico. and the city was near where my dad is from. So I was like, I want to go. I got on a bus from Dallas to where my dad's from in Guanajuato, around 24 hours on the bus. And whenever I got there, my aunt and my cousin and my uncle drove me to the city, Leon. And we were in line, and we were in line for hours, maybe like from around 8 hours or 9 hours. And whenever I got there, that was a huge cultural shock because I didn't grow up in Mexico. So I was with individuals that were around my age, and they had other variety of music that they were listening to, and I felt automatically intimidated by them. I felt like I didn't speak like them. I felt like I didn't really know the music that they were listening to. And whenever you're in those huge lines, you begin to speak with everybody else. And whenever they would ask me where you're from, I would say, oh, I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm from the States. And then one of the girls was like, well, maybe you should sing in English because, I mean, I feel like everybody here is going to be singing in Spanish. So if you come in there singing in English, maybe that would be a good thing for you. In that moment, I mean, I didn't know any better. So I was like, maybe she's right. But in all reality, I had practiced that other song in Spanish forever. So whenever it came down to me singing, I decided to go for English, and I did. I think I sang a Backstreet Boys song, and I remember two of the judges. They did look up, and they did look at me for a while, and like, thank you, and they actually gave me a smile, which the previous singers they wouldn't even get an acknowledgement. So I was like, okay, cool, and then, but then that was that. They're like, we'll call you back. So then after that, imagine being there for so long, but then you have to come back and be like, well, they're gonna call me back, they said, or if I'm selected, they'll call me back. So then I would get back in the we would go back to my dad's town, and then have to come back to Dallas. And then I think at that point I was like, maybe this is not for me. Like, I just need to do it for fun. I can't think of doing it for as a career. Like, we'll just do it for fun. And that's what I've been doing for the past, well, as long as I can remember. I sing for fun. If there's any parties, if there's any family gatherings, and a mariachi comes along, I'm there to sing, and I enjoy it. If there's karaoke going on, I'll be doing that as well. And so today I do that for fun. Whenever I was in high school, I guess the first moments where I actually decided that I wanted to do a little bit of singing was in middle school. I was in the choir, and I feel like in all reality, during middle school, when you select choir, it's simply to have an easy class. But I felt like this is where I want to be. This is great. But I feel that I never really showed that I could sing. I would do it here and there, but I really didn't throw it all out, simply because at that age in an all boys choir, I felt that they were gonna make fun of me. There was one time where I was on the benches, and there was two guys in front of me, two boys, and I started singing, and everybody stopped, and I kept for a little bit. And then the two guys in front of me, they look back, they look at me, they look at each other, and then they look to the front. They didn't say anything. They didn't laugh at me. They didn't say, hey, good job. It was just weird. And I felt like, oh, I need to like bring it back. And that was in middle school. Whenever I got to high school, I was a bit more confident. I had already done other parties. I had been in quinceañera, so I was dancing, singing, and then in high school, I decided to join theater. So now I incorporated acting as well. And in high school, that's when I automatically felt, wow, I'm gonna be the biggest singer ever, like Ricky Martin. Who? I was telling myself, Junior, you can sing, you can act, you can dance. you got it all. And I would even practice in my head how my interviews would be like, and I would practice on how I would be talking to my fans. I honestly felt in high school, I felt that we had it was a musical, and it was so cool. That musical, we it was a it was it was a great production, and I was in my character. His name was Vance Delphile, and it was kind of like the Ricky Martin. So I think it was like two or three songs that I sang solo, and it was great. It was great. It was great because I felt like I was Ricky Martin when I was up there dancing, and we got to sing that, or we got to perform that play or that musical for I believe it was a middle schools or elementary schools. I can't remember. And then I wish we could have done it more. I don't think we did it that much. But I remember one time I was at the grocery store with my grandpa, with my abuelo, and then a little girl runs up to me and she hugged me and she said, You're the guy in the play, you're the guy that was singing and acting. And then my grandpa looked at me, and he would always remind me of that. Do you remember when that little girl came up to you and hugged you and said that you were a singer? And I was like, yeah. It was great. It was a great feeling. And then after high school, that's when I did the whole going to the auditions. And then, I kind of like forgot about it. But I continued to do the singing in family events and parties and whatnot. I began to work. I worked at several, like maybe two insurance companies, but the second insurance company that I was working for, they had locations all over the world that were not specifically for auto insurance. They did other things. There were brokers and whatnot. So they hosted for all the, I guess, the CEOs, maybe once a year in the beginning of the year, they had like a 1 week where they all would go and they would have classes, they would have events, they would have dinners, shows that they would go see. So they decided that for that year they were going to have like an American Idol spinoff, where any employee from anywhere in the world could send a tape of them doing anything, like singing, dancing, or whatever talent they had. And during that time, some of my coworkers had me on Facebook, so they knew that I would sing. So one of them showed the video to one of the managers, and one day the manager called me into the office and she's like, hey, I saw a video of you singing. I think you need to submit a tape. So they're like, you think so? And she's like, yeah, do it. So I submitted 2 videos in English and Spanish. And after I submitted the video, I totally forgot about it. Maybe like 3 weeks later, I get an email and it says, you've been selected as one of the 5 acts that are invited to Las Vegas for that whole week. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, no, this is too much. So then I went and talked to the manager, and what they did is they paid my flight, they paid my hotel, of course my food, and I had to select what activities I wanted to do. I think I decided to go watch the Cirque du Soleil Michael Jackson show. We also did a zip line at the mountains, and it was such a great experience. From the moment that I arrived, I felt like a celebrity. This experience probably has been the one that has been the closest to being a celebrity. They take me to the Wynn Hotel. They give me my keys to the key to the room, and once I get into the room, it's a gorgeous room, and the view that I have is to the Treasure Island. So I'm looking at Treasure Island. I have a beautiful bed. Everything is accustomed to me. It says, "Welcome, Mr. Juan Rodriguez," on the TV, on the phones. The restroom is beautiful. And I was feeling like, okay, this is Ricky Martin stuff. I go to the orientation and they give me a bag. And in that bag, I have all the passes to all the events that I have to go to the clubs that I have access to, and they provided me with some Nike tennis shoes, like running shoes, beautiful. I still have them, and then after that, for the next few days, I did all the activities, and on the last day, that's whenever I was gonna do the zip line, and when I got to the zip line, it was like around 15 to 20 people that sign up for the zip line, and I let everybody go. I was so scared. I was scared of heights. So then it's my turn to do it, and the guy's like, "Hey, can I ask you something? Are you, I feel like, what's going on? Why are you the last one?" And then I was like, "Well, I just don't want to feel that feeling whenever you're in a roller coaster." And he's like, "I promise you, you won't feel that. And when you're there, just enjoy it. Open your eyes, appreciate the view, and have fun." So then I'm like, okay, appreciate the view, enjoy, and have fun. So I get on it and it takes off. So even though I was going so fast, it seemed like it was time stopped. I was able to like actually appreciate the view, look to the very bottom, look around at the mountains, feel the wind in my face. And I was like, I am so grateful for this opportunity, because when does this happen? When does someone just get selected at work to go for a week and to Las Vegas, everything paid? So then after that, we get to the hotel, and they take all the talent to this room. And imagine, do you remember when MTV would have clips of like the producers in this huge room with the huge black table and everybody around, and it was kind of like that, and the producer was kind of like, or the director was kind of like telling us what we're gonna do, when this was gonna happen, who was gonna go first, this and that. And I was like, wow, I cannot believe this is happening to me. So then after that, they take us to the auditorium, or to the salon where we're gonna be singing. And I get on stage, and while I'm on stage, I noticed that people are setting up the tables. And for the most part, whenever I was seeing them, they were Hispanic. So my two songs were Ricky Martin and Mark Anthony. It was a mix. My friend, who's a DJ, mixed two songs. So it started kind of like, it was an English song, and then it went into the Spanish. And I got to dance a lot and sing. And whenever I was practicing so they could hear my voice, and doing the sound check, I could see the people, like the workers, dancing. They have, let's say, the tablecloth on their hands, and they would just drop it, and then they would start dancing with me. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait. So then after that, I go to my room, I get ready, and then I come back. By the time I come back, everybody's already there. Everybody's drinking, about to have dinner. We have dinner, and then they announce, hey, it's time to start the show. So then I go to the back, and then I come out and I start singing, and I couldn't see anything. The lights were going back and forth. So there was moments where I could see, but for the most part I couldn't. But I let go. I was dancing, I was singing, and whenever it stopped, I could see people, up and dancing too. So I was really excited. Then after that, they announced the winner, and the winner was an act of 5 gentlemen, older gentlemen, and what they were doing, they were dancing, and then at the very end of their performance, they took off their pants like strippers, and they were all wearing a G-string. So they won. It was super funny, super clever. And then after that, I came back to Dallas, And a few days later, the winner was going to get a trip to Cabo, which I'm sure the gentleman got to go to Cabo, but they were also going to have a pizza party for the entire, entire building, not building, entire floor. I think we're on the 10th floor or 7th floor. So the entire floor was going to get lunch. And since I didn't win, I was like, well, they probably got it. Forgot about it, had a great experience. I was so grateful for the opportunity. And then I was working already. I was on a call, and the main man, like the CEO of the entire corporation, which was in some state, I'm not sure where. I don't want to say Alabama, maybe. Anyways, so I'm getting a call from him. So I get nervous, and I was like, okay, I'll call you back. And I click on the client, and then I pick up his call, and he's like, hey, I want to let you know that to me, you were the winner. You did great. That was talent. That was a great performance. So tell you what, I'm going to give you the pizza party for you and the entire floor. So this Friday, please let everybody know you guys will have pizza, and you guys will also have, they'll be showing your video of you singing. So then I got super excited. I was like, hey, well, on top of that, he gave me gift cards, which were about like $1,500, which, I mean, I was so happy. I was extremely happy. I felt like a total celebrity. It was a great experience, and I am so grateful for that opportunity. And when I look back and I tell my younger self that I wish I could have said to myself, you are capable of doing anything. You have your light in your path. Go for it. And that's something that I want to share with you guys. Like, if you feel that you have a passion, even if you are not getting paid for it, you do it for you. If you sing, if you dance, do it every day as much as you can, because that brings you happiness. You were gifted those talents. And a lot of the times we feel that maybe we feel embarrassed. Maybe we feel like it's funny. People are gonna make fun of me. It doesn't matter. You do it. It's gonna make you happy. It's gonna release some stress. Go ahead and do it. I wish I could go back at times and be like, I'm gonna be the biggest singer, but I can still be it if I wanted to. And it was a great experience, and I love to sing. I love to dance, and I also love to act. And who knows, maybe in the future I'll surprise you guys doing something. Now I know that the possibilities are endless, and I can do everything, not just one or two things. I can do everything that I want to do. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys next time.